I'm just going to wait until there are a few more people signed on. Hi everyone, this is Stephanie, the Executive Director of Wildcare. Thank you everyone for watching. We're just waiting a few minutes here to let people sign on. Today I'm going to show you our clinic, and this is the area where we receive animals and we do an exam, full assessment, and give animals fluids or medications. And you're also going to see that we have a lot of baby birds in our clinic. So these are the baby birds who are very critical. Either they just came in, or they're young, or they're injured. And so they're in our clinic and cared for by our staff and our interns. And then eventually the baby birds graduate out to our baby bird room. So let me turn this camera around. And I first would like to introduce you to Rachel Wojak. Rachel is absolutely wonderful. She is a seasonal rehab assistant, and this is her second year with us. She came back to help us. She lives in Connecticut, and her family has a home here. And she just got her associate's degree from Northwest Connecticut Community College. Did I get that right? And we secretly hope that Rachel does not continue college so that we can hire her. But anyway, so Rachel's gonna feed the birds, and I will explain what's happening. And Rachel, if you want to add anything at any time, please do. So these look like little chipping sparrows?
This one's a chipping sparrow, and the one perched is a song sparrow.
So I hope everyone can see and hear them. I'll try to get it in a little closer. And so she is feeding them mealworms from these hemostats. They look like scissors, but they actually have a blunt end, and we can hang on to the insect easily and feed it to them. And these mealworms, they're dipped in water to add a little bit of moisture to the diet. So the baby birds in our clinic, I was saying, these are critical care birds. So either they just came in or they have special needs. And so they're fed by our trained interns and our staff.
He has the brace for his leg.
Oh yes. So it looks like the sparrow in the back has an injured leg, so we have a little, it looks like a little foot brace to keep his toes spread out and in the right place. Let's see if I can go closer to this little guy. Sometimes when I go closer, it focuses on the cage bars.
I know, that's tough.
Yeah, it's hard. There we go. Oops, swallow that worm. And so we have timers set, and then Rachel feeds them every 24 minutes. So you can imagine we have dozens of baby birds in the clinic. So by the time she feeds them, it's time to start again and feed everyone.
Yeah, it definitely takes a while. A lot of hungry little babies.
That's funny.
I know.
Okay.
So cute.
Okay, so who's next?
So next we have what we think are song sparrow and chipping sparrow. They're little babies. They look pretty similar, but they sound a little different. So
Let's see. Do you mind if I get it in close?
absolutely.
Thank you. So chipping sparrows and song sparrows look very, very similar when they're young. They don't look so similar when they are adults. But you'll see one is slightly larger, their calls are a little different, their feathering is incoming a little differently. There, I'll stay here and then you can go ahead. Oops, and one of them just pooped over the nest like a good bird. So baby birds, you know, they're eating every 24 minutes and basically pooping, eating and pooping,
Yes.
eating and pooping.
Very quick.
So we have to do a lot of cleaning, and if we were adult birds, we would be collecting the fecal material. Birds they actually poop in what's called a fecal sac. It's coated with a membrane so that the parents can grab that sac and deposit it elsewhere. And so we essentially have to act like parents and remove all the fecal sacs from the nest. These two are so cute.
I know.
They're super patient, aren't they?
They are. They are good birds, huh? You want that? Clean it. Makes it tough, huh? Here you go.
If anyone would like to volunteer for our baby bird program, we actually have 4 shifts open through the end of August or early September. We have early bird shifts, so they are the 6 to 9 a.m. and then we have 3 to 6 p.m. shift. And basically what you would do is you would come in and feed baby birds once a week for 3 hours. And that's what you do, feed and clean them for 3 hours. It's honestly very rewarding, and we have people who come back every single year to feed their babies.
Last one. All right. You got that?
I'm also going to just back up for a minute for a wider shot because I want to thank, see these beautiful incubators right here? Karen Bajukas donated money for these on Giving Tuesday in May. And we love these because they're transportable. So when we have critical care animals, we can take the incubators home with us. And it works great for these little birds with their tiny nests.
I know. I love them for the small, the little teeny tiny newborns.
Aw. So who are you feeding next?
So next we have another kind of sparrow. We have a house sparrow in here. Very cute.
House sparrow.
And they're funny when they feed because they like to hide. Hi.
I can hear him.
I know. Very shy.
Oh, he is shy. Is he new?
He's been here, I think, for 3 or 4 days now. Do you want that? I know. I know.
Oops, there's a little face.
No. You want that?
There we go. Let me know if I'm in your way.
We're good right now.
Thank you also to everyone who donated knitted nests. These nests are awesome. They're soft. They're easy to wash and dry. And the tightly knit ones are great because we don't have to worry about little feet and little toes and beaks getting caught.
Yeah, no, these are awesome. Super convenient and very cozy.
Yes. There he goes.
I know. Give you a little bit more. They are bottomless pits, and we'll keep going. Last bite.
And so you're probably wondering how the heck do we know what all these babies are and what their needs are? And you know, we do see the same sort of common species over and over again, and they're recognizable by incoming feather patterns, the color of their skin, the color of their down, their vocalizations. Most importantly, probably is the color of the inside of their mouths, which we refer to as a gape. And then also their gape flange, which is the beak, which is brightly colored in babies usually. And I'll show you guys some babies up close. The gape flange is colorful because when you think about it, the mom and dad have all these beaks to feed, and especially if you're a cavity nester, it might be hard in a dark place to see the mouths.
Yeah.
So they have these brightly colored gape flanges. Okay, so Rachel.
We have very exciting patients next. These are chimney swifts, and they are very interesting birds. But this is really exciting because we had a lot last summer, and we just got these three, I think, 2 days ago now. But they're very noisy.
Yes.
They're very.
And would you mind taking their container out?
Sure.
Thank you. These birds are awesome, you guys. So, one of the species that we specialize here are the chimney swifts. And you can see, I'm going to try to get this to, I'm going to zoom this in. There we go. So it might look like their heads are dirty, but what you're actually seeing are their little pin feathers, like little porcupines. Pin feathers remaining on the head that are yet to sprout their feathers. These swifts just came in, like Rachel said, a couple of yesterday.
Day before.
Day
I think,
before.
in the evening, yeah.
And they were not, we're not mom and dad. So they were not accustomed to eating from us, so sometimes it takes a while to get them up to speed. Another thing that's really interesting is, so notice how these birds are hanging. We have them on a hanging shelf. That's because chimney nests do what their namesake, which is nest in chimneys or nest in vertical structures. They used to nest in natural dwellings, caves, and even trees, but with the lack of natural dwellings, they've taken to chimneys. And with more and more people capping their chimneys, unfortunately these birds are in tremendous decline across their entire range. So they're insect eaters. They take everything on the wing. And interestingly, so notice how Rachel sort of taps them from underneath their beak, which is totally different than other baby birds. And this is because if they were in a nest, their parents actually approach them from underneath and feed them. So they'd have little faces hanging off of this nest, which is attached to a vertical surface like a chimney. So one common thing when rehabbers get them, if they're not familiar with the species, is that they try to feed them from up above, and these guys won't gape like a normal baby bird. So really unique. They have a lot of special needs. For one, we need to give them surfaces to cling to, and we need to give them a roost or a chimney box.
I know. They're still just starting to self-feed today, so.
Aww.
Yeah.
Well, I see. So how many mealworms are they eating each time?
Typically around 5 or 6.
So 5 or 6 mealworms every 24 minutes. And we basically have to feed them right up into the point of them being released.
Yes.
So sometimes, like Rachel said, last year I think we had
many.
Like 22.
Yes, I want to say around 2 dozen for sure.
And we were going through 20 to 30,000 mealworms a week just for these birds. So I cannot thank you to all of our viewers. Your donations mean the world because it really does all go back to the animals, or the care for the animals. I'll get a close-up of these guys and then we'll let them go to bed.
They are so cute.
Look at those faces.
I know, so sweet.
These guys are here just a short time during the summer. They're really only here a couple of months, and then they're long-distance migrants. They travel all the way to Peru. The real reason they're in decline is because the decline in insects that they eat. Pretty much all the aerial insectivore birds are in decline. Insects are in decline due to pesticides and also climate change. So now they're nice and quiet. They're obviously, you're obviously feeding them well because there's a lot of nice poop in there.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, they're so cute. A lot puffier than they were 2 days ago too, so that's good.
Yes. And this little note on their door, so that's chimney swift and their numbers are 1041, 42, and 43. And that means that was the 1,041st, 42nd, and 43rd animal to come through our door. And so that's what all these numbers mean. And then these abbreviations are the American Ornithological Union's bird codes, basically, for recognizing species in North America. Okay, Rachel.
So up next we have 3 more house sparrows. So these are a little bit further along developmentally than the guy we just fed for the chimney swifts. And one of them we had, I think, come in the day it hatched. And he's still doing very well. He's the one, he's this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then these 2 came in a couple of days after him. And they were babies too.
I might try. What if I...
Try that angle.
I'm
I know,
trying
it's
to
tough.
I'm trying to socially distance from Rachel and show her and show the birds.
I know. They
So-
all like to huddle too, so that makes it easy.
So which one was the little baby?
This one was a little baby, and then these 2 behind him came in a couple days after him, and they were still tiny.
Wow.
And they grow up very quickly. It's crazy.
Thank God. Actually, what you just said is so important, because we often get calls from people who, you know, there's a bird nest on your deck and they're pooping and you don't want them there. For one, it is not legal to remove the nests of most bird species, once they have eggs in it. But also, most of these birds, they literally incubate for 10 to 12 days. And then the birds are only in the nest 10 to 12 days. So you're talking about like a 24 to 30 day period where you have to deal with them. So we usually encourage people, just leave them there and let them do their thing. And then close up that area to discourage them from nesting in it. I just saw them. He just pecked the other bird in the face.
I know. They get a little sassy. Aw. It's so cute when they're teeny tiny and they're big from each other.
I know. We do sometimes have cases where babies will feed the other babies of the same species in the incubator. Oops. Sorry, everyone. My phone, I'm like way zoomed into you and it won't zoom out. There we go. So while she's feeding them, you can see our setup here. And again, this is just the clinic. This is not even the baby bird room. I also want to thank folks again, because in May we had a special day of Giving Tuesday to help nonprofits through COVID. And we had some very generous donations, which allowed us to purchase this large Brinsey incubator that you see below. The Friends of Cape Wildlife made a donation to purchase this incubator. And then we also had dozens of amazing people who basically enabled us to buy all the supplies that we needed. And I feel really good about that. We are feeling the love, and I hope you can see that all of these items are put to really good work. Love these incubators.
They're so nice.
They're amazing. Okay.
So up next we have 2 robins and a barn swallow in here.
Okay, maybe I'll go to the other side again.
And one of the robins might be a little bit more active today. They're starting to grow up.
Okay.
But the barn swallow is doing the best he's done with us too, so that's really awesome. A little in rough shape a couple days, but now he's gaping. We had to feed him, and now he's ready to eat on his own.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so here's a robin nestling.
Yes.
Notice the little Einstein hairdo here. And by the way, all this food is handmade. It's a high protein, nutrient, vitamin, mineral rich diet. And then everyone gets the same diet, but we supplement their dietary needs using other things. So the chimney swifts do not get this diet. They get mealworms and crickets they need excessive levels of protein. There's another nestling robin. Oops. Their patterns are just beautiful.
I know, robins are gorgeous. I love how speckled they are as babies.
Me too. And I love how polite they are compared with some of the other babies.
They really are such good baby birds to have. They're a little bit messy, but beyond that, they eat well. They stop when they're full. They're very, very good baby birds.
They are. Everyone looks so nice and clean, Rachel.
I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome, of course.
Aw, the little guy. So you said barn swallow?
Yes. Yep.
He's a little nervous in there.
I know. He's still kind of growing into himself, but he's doing better, so that's good.
What did you say his story was?
I don't remember where he was brought in from, but we've had to force feed him mealworms the past 2 days. He came in and he was super dehydrated, just looked really rough, but today he's eating on his own, so that's really good news, and he looks a lot perkier.
Good. Notice on these robins, so they don't look anything like the adults, and that's because the speckles actually help them to be camouflaged in their environment. They'll lose the wispy little downs that you see. And notice how bright their mouths are. So this is something we use to identify babies. And see the yellow, we call it a gape flange, their beak. And this helps us identify the babies and also helps the parents to identify their mouths when they're feeding them in the nest. And research has shown that some baby birds, when they're fed, the coloration in their mouths actually changes, which allows the parents to know who they've actually fed.
That is so neat.
Isn't that amazing? I think they mostly see it in cavity nesting birds, which makes sense because you're like sort of blindly in this dark hole feeding mouths, and you need some visual to understand who's been fed. Okay, you guys. Goodbye. Bye.
Gosh. I
Sorry,
love
Rachel.
little sleepy robins. They are so cute. Okay, so up next we have 2 blue jays, which is very exciting.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome. We got one that's a bit older, and we have one that's still a little bit puffy.
Oh, yeah.
But they are so cute.
I'm going to put my mask on so I can come near you.
That is the only challenge for feeding them in here.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
And for everyone watching at home, I'm trying to focus, but it wants to focus on the cage bars. So I'll just stay on one bird.
I love the noises when they eat. It's so great.
Maybe I'll try going over here. Let me know if I'm in your way. These guys are crazy.
I know they are. And he's definitely learning from the older one.
Is he really?
Yes. Flying around a lot more, trying to copy him.
And so normally we would not, we don't house our blue jays or crows with other species of birds because these guys are predators. And normally if we had all the room in the world, these guys wouldn't even be in this building because it's not ideal to have these predators, have our other species exposed to these predators. We want them to recognize that these are predators. So what will happen is these guys will go to a separate aviary Carrie Reed, she's our office administrator, and she specializes in crows and jays. And so they will actually go to her house, into her aviary. I think they're in line actually for,
Yes,
she just
they
released.
are the other two. Yep.
She just released some of her
Yeah,
babies.
you'll be going next.
And sorry to the viewers for the lack of, it's a little bit fuzzy, not clear.
Take your nap. Oh, you're so cute. And then last stop for the baby birds is this black cap chickadee. And he is almost ready to move out to the baby bird room or one of the aviaries. The only thing we're waiting for is for him to figure out how to crack sunflower seeds on his own. So I'm going to try to show him with the hemostat. It's a little bit tough to see with the screen, but
Oh yeah, that's okay. I hear a turn.
I know, he's real two of those.
And thank you also to everyone who donated these awesome butterfly terrariums. As you can see, they are so perfect for little birds because feather quality is really important. And so the soft sides prevent feather damage. And for a chickadee, this is like, that's a big, big space.
It is. It's a nice little setup.
Which is also why the tents that you also just donated are awesome because they're soft-sided, a lot of ventilation, open up the top, the birds can see the stars, and we can clean them. We get very creative here. Yay, thanks for feeding the chickadee.
Of course. Yeah, no, he's learned to have fun with his mealworms now. He gets to fly around with them. Very exciting.
Aww. Let me see. You talking to your mealworms?
And then I've been trying to just take one of the sunflower seeds in there with the hemostats and then just cracking it with the hemostat in front of him.
He's so
So
excited.
we can hopefully pick up on that and learn how to do that on your own. It's got a little dish in there. Here's that. I'm gonna do one more worm. One more worm.
Yay.
Awesome.
Okay, well, I think that concludes our indoor baby bird tour.
Yes, the indoor portion. Plenty more outside.
I want to thank Rachel again for showing us around.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you, everyone at home. I will turn this camera around. Thank you, everyone at home, for joining in. Please join us next Friday. I think we might show an owl next Friday. And love you all, and thank you for your support. Bye. Stay cool, everyone.